Now, Dr. James Kavanagh, if we come to look at it again, you did mention earlier in your analysis that the U.S. was too dependent on the Zionist entity's interests. Now, it has for decades, been involved with the Zionist entity, but all these decades, have it really served American interests whatsoever? And if not, how should alliances be reconsidered?
Well, that article by Robert Kagan, it's interesting because he says very clearly, oh, America's been Zionist because they're guilty over the Holocaust, but none of it serves America's national security interests. This is amazing coming from Robert Kagan. And Robert Kagan saying, oh, now America's a rogue superpower. Well, America's been a rogue superpower for at least 30 years, largely because of people like Robert Kagan and his wife. Yes, we are in a situation now for the first time since the Gaza situation. Americans are waking up to what Zionism is and to its influence in the United States. It's been incredibly powerful in the United States, but most people have not been aware of it. They didn't really think about it. But with Gaza, people have been saying, my gosh, is this what Zionism is? And my God, is it really? Did we get into wars with Iraq and Syria and Libya and this war to protect Zionism? And we did. And so now the American populace is becoming, there's a strain of real anti-Zionism, and Republican and Democratic in the American populace. And that's a big problem. And this is the case. The United States, on behalf with Israel and sometimes on its own, but also sometimes with Israel, it's been rogue. They haven't paid attention to international law. They haven't done that at all. So now the American people are saying, well, we're suspicious of that. We want America first. We don't want to do any more wars for Israel. And that's a big problem. Unfortunately, the political and media class is still 100% Zionist, or at least 99. I'll say 99 or 98. It's changing a little bit, but it may not change fast enough. That's one of the reasons that Israel wants this war now, because the support for Israel in the United States is declining and will continue to decline. So this is part of the problematic that we're in and why they're pushing for it. And unfortunately, or fortunately, really, the United States doesn't control anything. It doesn't control everything anymore in the way that it did. It doesn't control this. It's lost control of this conflict. And they are now going to be deciding, but the United States also lost control not only, let's put it this way. There are other players here. Israel and Iran are going to decide what they want to do. And the fact is, Israel depends entirely on the United States, but the United States has never withdrawn support for Israel for anything they do. So Israel is still confident that whatever it does, the United States will follow along and support it. And as long as that's the case, Donald Trump can say he pulls out, but Iran won't stop and Israel won't stop. What's he going to do? In fact, as long as the Americans give what they have given, an implicit and explicit security guarantee to Israel that we won't let you lose, then they're in the war, whatever Donald Trump wants to do. So this is the problematic the whole world is in now. This is a fight over the future of American hegemony in that region and Zionist hegemony in that region. And Israel's going to have a say in whether they want to cease fire or that. Because at the end of the day, the way it's looking now, Iran has become the major power in that region. Iran survives this and maintains its integrity and its coherence as a state. It becomes a major power. And it's not going to be the United States that, if there's a negotiation, who is going to do it? Again, the United States is losing not just military power and economic power, but diplomatic power, because Trump is a rogue elephant in a whole international order. So if someone turns to someone to negotiate this, they're not turning to the United States anymore. They're turning to Russia or China, probably Russia in this case, and the United States, which assumed over 30, 40 years that there's a diplomatic table in the world and we're at the head of it and we decide what to do and everybody comes to us. That's over. Mm-hmm. And Iran is creating a situation where America's military omnipotence and diplomatic head of the table posture is gone, and they don't want to accept it. So I don't know what they're going to do.
Perfect point, which brings me